WWE 2K25 is just around the corner, and today with the gameplay trailer, we are going to break down everything we know and the new details for MyGM and WWE 2K25. Let me know before we get started what features and what wish list things you'd like to see added into 2K25's MyGM. I don't care if they're big or small, if they're pie in the sky type dreams. I want to know everything that you think would make MyGM and 2K25 bigger and better than ever. All right, and first things first here, we already know that they said there's going to be online MyGM with more GMs, PLEs, and match types. And opening up here, you see shows starting soon. It's Xavier Rhodes versus Stephanie McMahon. That's NXT versus SmackDown here. And you can kind of see they have this head-to-head. Up in the top right, I like this feature. So this is, I'm assuming, for the online mode. You can see you have your player 1 versus player 2. With the sound indication for, I'm assuming, voice chat. So I'm assuming you're able to talk with people in game while you're in MyGM, going head to head. I'm really intrigued to see how this head-to-head system works. If it's both people are going at the same time booking their show, or if, for instance, player 1 with Xavier Rhodes in NXT has to book their show first, and then you see Stephanie McMahon and SmackDown book their show, player 2 book their show after. I'm curious to see what that format looks like for online compared to what they've done with couch co-op, but it's interesting to see, to say the least. I like what we're seeing here from this thus far. Again, you can play locally. They showcase that. You can also play online against friends or AI opponents with an online connection. So that part right there is interesting to me. I'm curious to know if only your online connection save, if that gets updated with any new updates, if they add in new factions, or if they add in new titles, or any new features to MyGM throughout the course of the game's lifespan. I don't know if they're gonna, sometimes you see that in other games, sports games specifically. I'm curious to know if you play locally on an offline save, if it will be updated with new features that come out post-launch, or if you have to have an online connected save. So I'd really be curious to know some more details on that. But moving in here, let's look at some of the new GMs. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know all these people off the top of my head, but you see, you got Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce, you got Ava Raine, you got Mick Foley, excuse me. You still have all the same GMs that were in last year's game as well. But you have the new addition of Shawn Michaels. You have the Fabulous Moolah. CM Punk is in there for whatever reason. That's pretty interesting to me. You got CM Punk. You got Sensational Sherry. So a pretty big roster of GMs. I'm very curious to know what special abilities they each have. I'd be very curious to know that. So, if you know all these people, please do shout it down below. Like you can see Shawn Michaels, you can kind of read it a little bit. He has the Heartbreaker ability where it says, a losing brand, 5 superstars on their roster will lose 1 promo skill next week. And it selects other people below. So basically he can hurt people's promo abilities on another brand. I'm assuming that's what that is. So the Heartbreaker can hurt people's promo abilities. You see Sensational Sherry says something defeat. Here says losing brand reduce the morale of all of their blanks. So I don't know if that means all of their superstars get a lost morale, if it's all of their champions get a lost morale, but there's some interesting details there for those GMs. If you can make out those details for me in the comments, I would certainly appreciate it. Now, looking here, you get CM Punk climbing up the ladder here in what looks to be the typical ladder match with the Money in the Bank at the very, very top. Now, I wish and I hope we have the actual Money in the Bank match in game with the Money in the Bank contract. That'd be really, really cool to see, but no details on that. You still see match rules. You still have your one-on-one, your tag, your triple threat, and your fatal four-way. Doesn't look like we're getting bigger than fatal four-ways, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. So those of you that wanted the Elimination Chamber match with 8 players or 8 wrestlers in the ring, or a Royal Rumble, looks like we're missing out on that. Now, in terms of match types, this isn't all of them, I don't believe. I believe there's going to be more, but you still have your typical matches, but they've added in the Gauntlet Eliminator as well. So if you like the Gauntlet style matches, we will be seeing Gauntlet matches. As you see the example here, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax versus Blair Davenport. This is a fatal 4-way Gauntlet Eliminator. It costs $50,000 to do this. I do like the new UI layout a little bit here. It's, it's a subtle tweak but I'm liking what I'm seeing overall from that. As you see some of the gameplay of SmackDown here. Now you see a men's Gauntlet Eliminator Fatal 4-Way. You got Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Eric Rowan, and Lexis King. New additions added in there as well. You also see the Extreme Rules opener there, and I think that's Sean Spears. That's pretty sweet to see. Now, I'm curious about this. So this is just a weekly show. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the lower difficulty you're playing on, the less matches and promo slots that are available. Is that right or is that wrong? Let me know in the comment section, because all I've played on is hard difficulty and then extreme difficulty. And typically you have 4 matches, you have 2 mid-card, an opener, and a main event, and then you have 3 promo slots for your normal weekly shows. Hopefully they're not scaling that back. I like having more match types to be available. I think the lower the difficulty, the less you have to deal with. So I think that's what we're looking at here is like easy mode or maybe normal mode. But I do like what I'm seeing here from the UI. You see Roman, the WWE champion. You see that in the middle of the screen is level 15 icon. You see Cody's a level 20 legend right there pretty much. He's got the US championship. And you see all of that stuff in the middle there. So still looks like the class system returns. I know that's been heavily, I wouldn't say it's been hated, but you know, a large amount of the audience don't like how the rock, paper, scissors style gameplay with bruisers versus fighters, giants versus cruisers, and specialists are just in between there. So I'm hoping they add a little more leeway with that and give us some more clarification on, you know, hopefully allowing us to make some big time matches with face versus face or heel versus heel, with specialists going up against giants or giants going up against bruisers, and having those things work for us. It'd be nice to see the class system have a little bit of leniency this year, but very intrigued to see more on that as well. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, not a ton else new there for us in MyGM for this tease in the gameplay trailer. They gave us that look at the online, how that kind of looks with the matchup, player 1 versus player 2. Get the Gauntlet and Gauntlet Eliminator added in as well. And a whole bunch of new GM selections. No news on new brands. I still am theorizing, and I've had a few people agree with me in my last video. I still think we will have a TNA brand and maybe some TNA GMs in the game, because I do believe, you know, Joe Hendry had a little interview he did, and he mentioned he'd love to see a TNA DLC at some point in this game's lifespan. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get a TNA update DLC with some classic TNA skins for like AJ Styles, like he mentioned, even a Joe Hendry type character added in there with other characters as well. But I believe we will see a TNA DLC. I think that will be implemented and added into MyGM as another brand with even special GMs. I'm very intrigued to know what you think about that. But shout out everything that you saw in the gameplay trailer for WWE 2K25. And again, shout your feedback for me for MyGM, what you'd like to see added in. As always, keep it tuned here for more, as we are creeping up slowly to that release date coming out here in a couple months. But stay safe. God bless. I'll catch you back in the next one.